Travel with us back in time to the founding of the Gateway Cities Innovation Institute. It's the fall of 2012. In Boston, the Great Recession has barely been a blip. But in Gateway Cities, embers from the foreclosure crisis continue to smolder. Redevelopment projects planned for years by visionary Gateway City leaders have been abandoned or dramatically scaled down. But Gateway Cities aren't deterred. The idea that they have a unique role to play in the Commonwealth's future has been germinating for years, spurred by a MassINC Brookings Institution report showing how Massachusetts is fueling inequality with policy choices that consistently overlook the needs of regional economic centers beyond Boston. In 2008, Gateway City leaders gathered at Boston's Old State House to sign a compact to respond to this imbalance. Together, they voiced support for community and economic development policies that lead to more equitable growth. With leadership from Representative Antonio Cabral, legislators respond to this call to action by forming a Gateway Cities Caucus. Joining forces with mayors and other local officials, the caucus quickly racked up victories, starting with the codifying of Gateway City municipality in law. The movement is picking up steam, though the challenges remain significant. The Boston Globe takes note with a series of editorials, cajoling state leaders to do more. To go bigger and bolder, the movement requires a long-term, disciplined strategy. So in October of 2012, Gateway City leaders returned to Boston, gathering at the State House to launch a new institute at MassINC dedicated to supporting a sustained campaign. In its first year, the Institute initiates two projects that were emblematic of this more vigorous approach. Transformative redevelopment was the first. In January 2013, the Institute brought Gateway City legislators together with Secretary of Housing and Economic Development, Greg Bielecki. Gathering at Beacon Hill's historic Hampshire House, they pitched a downtown revitalization strategy. The plan called for more than $1 billion in state capital to catalyze private investment in targeted areas. With leadership from then Chelsea City Manager Jay Ash, Gateway City leaders lobbied for the proposal on Beacon Hill. Mayors came to the State House to testify jointly before various committees. While the Transformative Development Initiative that Governor Patrick signed into law in 2014 was much smaller than what was envisioned, the scaled-down program offers a strong foundation for larger investments. The Gateway City's education vision was the second major initiative launched during the Institute's first year. Throughout 2013, the Institute convened mayors, school superintendents, and other education leaders to work out an education strategy. MassINC circled the state, from Springfield to New Bedford, meeting with students, business leaders, and education advocates, gathering feedback. Together, Gateway City leaders went to the State House to advocate for funding and smarter accountability structures. With Gateway City students from across the state, the Institute helped Beacon Hill leaders learn about early college, a central pillar of the education vision. From neighborhood stabilization to inclusive entrepreneurship to transformative transit-oriented development, the Institute is refining a formula for collective policy development and advocacy. We co-develop policy blueprints with local leaders, translate them into legislation with members of the caucus, travel the state to spread awareness, and advance the concepts into law and effective program implementation. Municipal leaders in Gateway Cities have tough jobs. They succeed with vision and keen insight into what works, and they never give up. Many of the most exciting things happening in Massachusetts today are the result of Gateway City leaders who roll up their sleeves and problem solve. From tireless economic development professionals like New Bedford's Derek Santos to transformational mayors like Lawrence's Dan Rivera. Each year we gather to honor them and their work. Whether it's inspirational leaders like Brockton's Mary Waldron and Fitchburg's Mark Doan, or collaborative projects such as the 5-District Partnership, Beyond Walls, and Art in the Park. We also recognize leaders who champion Gateway Cities statewide, such as Governor Deval Patrick and MassINC's own John Schneider. The Gateway City Innovation Institute's Awards and Summit inspires us to look to the future with cautious optimism. Leaders like Arthur Jemison, Governor Baker, Mayor McGee, and Chris Coase have challenged us to keep advocating for our vital regional centers. It is difficult to overstate how important it is to keep up this fight. Decades of unbalanced growth have done grave harm to the social and economic fabric of Massachusetts and the nation. Powered by new leaders who bring more diverse voices and perspective to policy debates, the Gateway Cities movement offers a guiding light.